So you're ready. Am I ready?
Yeah, the person evaluating her is, and the person recording her is. Okay, put those men in the front row to work.
Yes.
Crack that whip.
All right. So this lady walks into a grocery store. She makes a beeline for the stock boy in the produce department. She says, "Hey, excuse me, could you please tell me if you have any sweet potatoes?" She says, "Oh, no, ma'am, I'm sorry, we don't have any sweet potatoes today." She's like, "All right, fine." She walks around a few more minutes, goes back to that same stock boy. She says, "Hey, where do you keep your sweet potatoes?" He's like, "I'm so sorry, ma'am, but we don't have any today. Maybe you should check back tomorrow." She's like, "Fine." She walks around a few more minutes. She goes back to that same stock boy and says, "Hey, where the hell do you keep your sweet potatoes?" He looks up at her and says, "I tell you what, I will answer your question if you answer 3 questions for me. The first question is, how do you spell cat, as in catastrophic?" She says, C-A-T. He's like, "All right, good. Second question, how do you spell dog, as in dogmatic?" She's like, "Well, D-O-G. He's like, "That's awesome. Now for your third and final question, how do you spell fuck, as in sweet potatoes?" She looks at him and says, "There is no fucking sweet potatoes." He's like, "That's exactly what I've been trying to tell you." Right? That's a good Chicago joke. Now, not only do sweet potatoes make some pretty good jokes, but they're also extremely versatile superfoods. And today I'd like to share with you a few things that you might find pretty interesting regarding sweet potatoes. We'll talk about some historical and fun facts. We'll also talk about a little bit of the nutritional profile. And then we'll wrap it up with how versatile these tubers can actually be. So let's go ahead and start with some interesting facts. Thanks to the world's healthiestfoods.com, I was able to pull up some pretty awesome information for you guys. First off, sweet potatoes are actually native to Central and South America. And it dates back more than 10,000 years, which is some pretty acceptable staying power, I think, for a vegetable. Now, there's over 7,000 different varieties, but here in the US, when you walk into any grocery store, you'll typically find about 3. That's usually your garnets, your jewels, and sometimes your Hannas. What I also find pretty interesting is these grocery stores actually call them yams. That's kind of like calling a dog a horse just because it's got 4 legs and fur. Sweet potatoes and yams are completely different, and you'll look at the chart, which shows you the potatoes, sweet potatoes, and yams come from completely different botanical families, genuses, and species. So you don't want to ever stereotype a sweet potato. It's just kind of cool. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how many of these things do we actually produce worldwide? And thanks to the USDA.gov site, I can tell you, we produce over 97 million tons. And the majority of those are actually grown in China, of all places, making over 68% of the world's supply, which I found pretty impressive and kind of unusual too. Here in the United States, though, we only produce 1%. 1% of that 97 million tons, which is pretty small. Now, I was wondering, where do we grow all these sweet potatoes? And I found out, thanks to the USDA site again, that North Carolina is actually the largest producer in the US, producing over 53%. And there's 2 great reasons as to why they produce that much. They're exceptional dirt quality, and they have 150 frost-free days, which it takes to grow these exceptional nutritional powerhouses. I'm sure you're also wondering, hey, what's in a sweet potato? Why do I want to consume these things? Well, here's some great sweet potato stats for you. In 1 cup, which is 200 grams, essentially like the size of my fist, there's 180 calories and 4 grams of protein. Now, that's not a complete protein because it's a vegetable and they're never usually complete. So it's not going to replace that big-ass steak you throw on your plate every night to devour, no, but it is going to make a pretty tasty side dish for that steak. You'll also notice it's got some pretty decent carbs, really low amount of fat, but it also has an exceptional 6.6 grams of fiber, which is really good. In addition, it has over 200% of your daily required vitamin A, which is actually twice as much as carrots. Yeah, I like that fact. I thought that was pretty good. In addition, it's got 52% of your vitamin C. It's loaded with antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, and blood sugar regulating nutrients, which means that it's an exceptional starch for any diabetic to consume, more so than a regular sweet potato, or a regular potato, sorry about that, because of the sugar regulating nutrients. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, yeah, sweet potatoes, they're awesome, but I only eat them for Thanksgiving. And I'd agree with that, because actually, Americans typically consume 7.1 pounds, give or take, per capita each year of this tuber. 7.1 pounds. But it's mostly consumed around Thanksgiving of all times. Hey, I'm saying, you know what? They shouldn't just be consumed around Thanksgiving, because they're actually really versatile foods. And thanks to the Flavor Bible, I was able to find out that sweet potatoes, let me turn to my page, actually go well with over 90 different spices, fruits, vegetables, and other proteins. The combinations are absolutely endless. Personally, I like to enjoy them, as you can see, some of the various different ways, as a salsa to go alongside of a pork chop or steak, whatever. You can have a sweet potato hash in the morning for breakfast. You can make the most excellent sweet potato pie, which is one of my favorites. Or you'll see the other picture here with a shake in the bottom. I like to throw part of a sweet potato in a protein shake in the morning before I go to the gym to work out. It makes an excellent pre-workout shake. So that's some of the different ways that you can consume them. And I've actually turned it into like the Bubba Gump of sweet potatoes. I've eaten them every which way till Sunday. I've had them baked, broiled, boiled, fried, whatever, you name it. I love to consume these things. They're just really versatile and they're really fun. So today I've talked to you about historical and fun facts, the nutritional benefits of this food, and just how versatile they are. And I'm sure you guys are sitting there saying, oh my God, this is such great information. I need to get out there and share it. And I am so excited with you. And I think that you should get out there and share it with your friends and family and whoever's going to listen, even when you're standing in the line at Starbucks, getting your drink that morning. So what I'd say is there's 3 takeaway points here for this one. Try and remember that we produce over 97 million tons of these things worldwide. They have 214% of your vitamin A, which is more than the carrots, and they're extremely versatile foods. You can have them for breakfast, lunch, dinner, you name it. So what I'm saying here essentially is sweet potatoes, they are awesome superfoods, and they should be consumed every single day.